Are you ready to buy a tax deed property? Well, here is my 10-step checklist. First, you want to identify auctions. You can find them online, newspapers, or just doing a drive around. They have to give public notice to perform the auctions. They are court ordered. Now that you've identified the auctions, you want to register for the auctions. Sometimes you have to register on each site. Sometimes you have to register for a specific property, but that's what you want to do. You want to do your sign up and get registered because there is a deadline. Next, you want to make the required deposit. There's going to be instructions for each auction, so read those thoroughly because they do change per property, per county, per state, per city. So make sure you read those instructions carefully. The deposits are typically 5% of what your max bid is. So if you're going to bid up to $100,000, then you need to have at least $5,000 as your deposit. However, that also may change by the auction. So it may be 10%. Just make sure you make that required deposit prior to the auction. Sometimes they take 1 to 2 weeks to clear on those deposits. Now you want to start researching the upcoming auctions. Some auctions are daily, weekly, monthly, and they have them published up to 3 months in advance. So you can see and plan and do your time, have the time to research. Once you've identified those properties that you'd like to bid on, now we want to start narrowing that down and to evaluate the properties. You want to use online maps, property records, GSI tools, zoning, and then property condition, either driving by or having a service like TaskRabbit go by and take some photos for you. You're going to start running the numbers next. You want to determine the potential of this property. So if you say, okay, I think this property is going to be worth $20,000, what price do I want to bid on? Now make sure you're taking into account there is recording fees when you win the auction. There is also selling fees. So we want to put a buffer in that for your calculation of your profit margin. Once you've identified those properties, some offer a pre-bid where you can bid in advance. So I'm going to only bid up to $3,000. So you can set your bid max right there. Some auctions are live auctions. So they're online live auctions. And then there is auctions that are in-person live. So you want to be prepared with your pricing, knowing where you're going to bid to. Once you've bid and you've won an auction, what do I need to do next? You need to pay. You need to pay the balance of what your auction is. Sometimes it's very strict turnaround times. It might be due the next morning at 9 a.m. Just make sure you hit that deadline because there is no variable for that. You will forfeit your deposit if you don't make the winning bid payment in time. And now that you've won a property, now you're going to get it ready to list and sell. So you want to start preparing the property, clearing it off, taking photos, and then determining the pricing and your strategy to sell. I'd love for you to join us for some of our live classes, the free classes. There's courses you can sign up for. There's one-on-one, and there's also you can schedule a call. So please like, follow, and subscribe, and I'll see you in a course soon. Thank you.